Hello everyone, Namaste. Welcome to my channel AcademicTuber. Today we are going to discuss chapter 19 from grade 9 science, that is chemicals used in daily life. Before that, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe this channel, and for more updates hit the bell icon. If you want more videos related to this, please like and do share these videos among your friends, and also don't forget to give your valuable response in comment section. We know that farmers use different chemical substances in their field, and these chemical substances are used to grow and yield more crops. If farmers do not use these chemical substances, the production of crops get badly affected, which does not compensate the growing population of the world. These chemical substances are called fertilizers. Fertilizers are those water-soluble chemical or organic substances which contain essential nutrients for the fast growing of plants. They help plants, fruits, and vegetables for their healthy growth and production. Plants need two types of nutrients for their healthy growth. They are macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients. Macronutrients, the nutrients which are required by plants in large quantities, are called macronutrients. The compounds containing nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are macronutrients. Micronutrients. The nutrients which are required by the plants in small quantity are called micronutrients. The compounds containing boron, iron, magnesium, zinc, sulfur, etc. are micronutrients. There are two types of fertilizers. First one, organic fertilizer, which is also known as manure, and next one is inorganic fertilizer or chemical fertilizer. Organic fertilizer. Those fertilizers which are obtained from the dead and decomposed parts of plants, animals, or their waste products are called organic fertilizers. They are also called natural fertilizer or manure. They are obtained from the natural process. Organic fertilizers are very suitable for crops and plants because they supply all the essential nutritive elements to the plants. Organic fertilizer can be prepared by the decomposition of dung and urine of cattle, leaves and soft twigs of trees, herbs, straw, dry leaves of trees, etc. The organic fertilizers can be classified into three types. They are green organic fertilizers, animal waste organic fertilizers, and compost manure. Green organic fertilizer. Green organic fertilizer is obtained from small, soft, and delicate plants. When green plants are grown, plucked, and mixed in the soil to provide essential nutrients to plants and crops, this is called green organic fertilizer. The fertilizer which is prepared by cutting green plants and decomposing them on the waste soil is called green fertilizer. It is also called green manure. The plants such as the Dhaincha, Asuro, Titepati, etc. are used to make green manure. The green manure mainly provides nitrogen to the plants in the form of nitrates. Next one is animal-based organic fertilizer. Animal-based organic fertilizer is obtained from dead animals. When animals die, they are buried under the soil. After a few months, the dead body gets decayed and decomposed with the help of fungi and bacteria. This type of fertilizer does not contain nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Thus, it is better to use animal organic fertilizer by mixing inorganic fertilizer. Next one is compost manure. It is a natural fertilizer which is prepared from the dead, decayed, and decomposed part of animals and plants or their waste products. Compost manure is a natural fertilizer which is prepared from the dead, decayed, and decomposed part of animals and plants or their waste products. To prepare compost manure, mixture of dead plants, animals, or their waste products are kept in the pit of soil. Sometimes lime is also added to it. After 3 to 5 months, due to microorganisms, it gets decomposed and manure is ready to use. It increases the fertility of the soil, but it has the low concentration of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Advantage of organic fertilizer. They are biodegradable and hence they cause less pollution. Such fertilizer increases the water holding capacity of soil as well as increases fertility. They are cheap as they are produced from wastes. They are useful for all varieties of plants. They do not have side effects on human beings as those of inorganic or the chemical fertilizers. Disadvantage. Disadvantage of organic fertilizer. Organic fertilizer is required in large quantities, so it is difficult to collect and transport them. The organic fertilizers are insoluble in water. Organic fertilizers are poor in inorganic nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Next one is inorganic or chemical fertilizer. Chemical fertilizer are those water-soluble chemical substances which are prepared through the chemical reactions. They are also called inorganic fertilizer. These inorganic fertilizers contain mainly nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium elements. Plants need these elements for their growth, development and seed production. Some of the examples of chemical fertilizers are ammonium sulfate, ammonium phosphate, urea, potassium nitrate, etc. We can divide chemical fertilizers into three groups on the basis of element containing in them. So first one is nitrogen containing fertilizers, or we can say nitrogenous fertilizers. The fertilizers which is rich in nitrogen content. So nitrogenous fertilizer, in these fertilizers nitrogen is present as the chief element. For example, ammonium sulfate NH4O2SO4, ammonium nitrate NH4NO3, urea NH2CONH2 and calcium cyanide CaCN2. Functions of nitrogen. It helps in the rapid growth of plants. It helps to increase the crop yield. It helps chlorophyll of leaves to have a faster rate of photosynthesis. It increases the amount of protoplasm, protein and chlorophyll in cell of plants. Deficiency of nitrogen. The deficiency of nitrogen in plant causes the following symptoms: reduction in crop yield, reduced and yellow leaves in plants, reduced size of flower, fruits and seed of crops. Second one is phosphorus containing fertilizers. These fertilizers contain mainly phosphorus as a chief element. Example, ammonium phosphate NH4O3PO4, calcium superphosphate CaS2PO4O2.2 CaSO4, triple superphosphate 3CaS2PO4O2 and bone meal, which is also known as the bone dust. Function of phosphorus. It is needed for the growth of leaves, buds and roots. It helps in developing seed in crops. It helps in fast maturity of the fruits and seeds. It is essential for protein synthesis and cell division. Deficiency of phosphorus. Poor growth of the roots of plants, slowed rate of cell division in the plants. And finally, in third number, here it comes the potassium containing fertilizers. Potassium containing fertilizers. These fertilizers mainly supply potassium to plants. For example, potassium chloride KCl, potassium nitrate KNO3 and potassium sulfate K2SO4. Functions of potassium. It helps in preparing food for plants. It helps in protein synthesis and cell division. It increases disease resistant capacity of plants. It promotes the flowering of plants. Deficiency of potassium. Reduction in the amount of protein in the cell, slow rate of cell division, drying or the death of leaves of plants. Small plants may die due to deficiency of potassium. Group of fertilizers. The fertilizers can be divided into three groups on the basis of number of inorganic nutrients present, and they are single fertilizer. Single fertilizer. The fertilizer which supply only one basic nutrient is called single fertilizer, and such fertilizer supplies only one among nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. For example, calcium nitrate, potassium chloride, potassium sulfate, etc. Next one is mixed fertilizer. The fertilizer which supply more than one basic nutrients are called mixed fertilizers. Example, ammonium phosphate, potassium nitrate, etc. And finally, here it comes the complete fertilizer. The fertilizer which contain all three primary nutrients. They are nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium is known as the complete fertilizer, and this fertilizer is popularly also known as the NPK fertilizer, where N stands for nitrogen, P stands for phosphorus, and K stands for potassium. They are made by mixing two or more single or mixed fertilizers. Advantages of chemical fertilizers. Chemical fertilizers are required in relatively small quantity, hence it is easy to collect and transfer them from one place to another. They contain most of the nutrients essential for growth and development of the plants. They are soluble in water and are easily absorbed by plants. They cause significant increase in crop production. Disadvantage of chemical fertilizers. They pollute air, water and soil. Due to chemical fertilizers, the products have side effects on human and animals. Long-term use of organic fertilizer destroy the soil composition. They make the soil acidic or basic. Due to chemical fertilizers, the vegetables, crops, fruits, etc. do not have any taste. So differences between organic fertilizers and chemical fertilizers. Organic fertilizer. They are obtained by the decomposition of dead plants and animal wastes, whereas chemical fertilizers, they are man-made chemicals which contain the specific elements. Organic fertilizers. They are not soluble in water, so they are absorbed slowly by plants. Whereas chemical fertilizers, they are readily soluble in water and are quickly absorbed by plants. Organic fertilizers are rich in organic nutrients but poor in nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Whereas the chemical fertilizers, they are rich in nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. They do not provide organic content. Organic fertilizers, they are not nutrient specific, whereas chemical fertilizers, they are nutrient specific. For example, potassium containing fertilizers provide only potassium. Organic fertilizer. They cause less environmental pollution, whereas chemical fertilizer, they pollute environment to greater extent. So here are some of the precautions that should be carried out while using a chemical fertilizers. The excessive use of chemical fertilizers may damage the plants, so we should use them in proper amount. Urea can be easily damaged by water and moisture, so it should be stored in a cold and dry place. Some nitrogenous fertilizers catch fire easily and they can cause fire hazards. Such fertilizers should be kept away from dry wooden dust, coal, dry leaves, etc. Chemical fertilizers should be stored away from the reach of children. The chemical fertilizers should be used only after testing the soil. So here is one question. How do organic fertilizers help to increase the greenhouse effect? So we know greenhouse effect. So greenhouse effect, the global increase in the temperature of Earth because of greenhouse gases is known as the greenhouse effect. In other term, we can also consider greenhouse effect as a global warming. So organic fertilizer, it helps to increase the greenhouse effect. Organic fertilizers are obtained by the decomposition of dead bodies, and during their decomposition, methane gas is released. And methane gas, it is a greenhouse gas and it causes greenhouse effect. As a result, organic fertilizers helps to increase the greenhouse effect. Next question. What are aerobic and anaerobic method of decomposition? The decomposition of dead bodies in the presence of oxygen is called anaerobic decomposition, and similarly, the decomposition of the dead bodies in the absence of oxygen is known as the anaerobic decomposition. Next question. What should be done to reduce the acidity and basicity of the soil? To reduce acidity, we use agricultural lime, commonly known as calcium hydroxide. Similarly, to reduce the basicity, we use calcium sulfate, calcium chloride, sulfuric acid, urea, etc. Insecticides. The poisonous substances which are used to kill harmful insects are called insecticides. Different insects destroy the crops either by consuming or causing diseases. This decreases the crop yield. Hence, insecticides, they are used to kill the harmful insect. Insecticides are sprayed over the affected plants in the form of fine powder or sprayed in the form of solution. The insects harm the crops, domestic animals and human beings, so they are killed by using insecticides. And the insecticides can be categorized into two types. They are bio-insecticides and chemical insecticides. Bio-insecticides. Bio-insecticides are naturally occurring solutions or compounds that suppress the growth and spread of insects population by diverse action. They are crop protecting agents. Bioinsecticides can be prepared from the parts of insect-repellent plants. Zolmol is an example of bioinsecticide. Udas that farmers use in the remote area of our country is also an example of bioinsecticide. Covering the planted potato with Asuro twigs, use of Titepati or neem to extract uh, neem extract to kill insects, keeping neem leaves while storing the harvested crop, etc. are some of the examples of bioinsecticides. The use of chemical insecticide pollutes both physical and biological environment adversely. Hence, bioinsecticide can be used instead of chemical insecticides. So here we are going to discuss some of the advantages of bioinsecticides. Bioinsecticides, they are easy to use. They are not harmful to human or crops, and there is no damage or residue left on plants. Vegetables grown by using the bioinsecticides are tasty, nutritious, and have no adverse effect on human health. It does not pollute the physical and the biological environment. Chemical insecticide. The insecticides prepared by using different poisonous chemicals are called chemical insecticides. There are two types of chemical insecticide. They are organic insecticide and inorganic insecticides. Organic insecticides are the synthetic compounds which are composed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and other elements. There are three types of organic insecticides. They are chlorinated organic insecticides. Chlorinated organic insecticides, these compounds contain chlorine as an additional element, and these compounds are stable and have long-term effects. For example, aldrin, dieldrin, dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane (DDT) and benzene hexachloride (BHC). Next one is organophosphate insecticide. The organic insecticide that contain phosphorus as an additional element are called organophosphate insecticide, and these insecticides are less stable, degradable and highly toxic to other animals. For example, malathion, parathion, phosdrine, etc. And last one is carbamate insecticide. The insecticide which have ammonia group NH2 in their molecular formula are called the carbamate insecticides. For example, baygon, turmeric, etc. Inorganic insecticides are usually made from minerals like calcium arsenate, lead arsenate, fluorides, etc. Characteristics of good insecticide. They should be biodegradable. They should not harm to human beings, birds and higher animals. They should not pollute air, water or soil. They should not leave long-term effects. Advantage of insecticides. So insecticides, they kill or control harmful insects or pests. They help to increase food production. They help to control several diseases by killing germs. Disadvantage of insecticides. Insecticides kill not only harmful insects but also some useful insects. They are mostly synthetic and non-biodegradable. DDT is a stable and non-biodegradable insecticide with long-term effects, hence it harms human beings, animals, birds and plants. DDT causes air, water and soil pollution as well. If it enters the human body through contaminated food, it badly affects liver, kidney and other organs. It also affects the bird's egg. They can leave harmful deposits in fruits and crops. So here are some of the precautions that we have to follow while using insecticides. We should be very careful while applying insecticide because they can take our lives as well. They should be kept away from the reach of children. They should not be stored along with or near the food stuff. We should wash our hands well with soap and water after using insecticides. Excessive use of insecticides should be avoided. So here are some questions related with insecticide. The use of insecticide is both beneficial and harmful. Why? Insecticide kills the harmful insects which destroy crops. Thus, it helps to increase the crop production. It does not kill harmful insects only but also useful insects. Therefore, it is harmful too. Next question. The use of DDT can bring imbalance in the ecosystem. Why? DDT decreases the reproductive rate of birds by causing egg cells shrinking and embryo death. DDT is highly toxic to aquatic animals. DDT affects various systems in aquatic animals including the heart and brain. DDT is highly toxic to fish. Hence, the use of DDT can bring imbalance in the ecosystem. Conservation of soil quality. The following measures should be taken to conserve the quality of soil. First one is testing the quality of soil. Regular testing of the soil quality helps to know the status of different nutrients in the soil. It also gives information on what kind of crops is suitable for the soil of the given area. In this way, we can conserve soil quality. Next one is cover crops or the crop rotation. Cover crops such as the nitrogen fixing legumes, white turnips, radishes and other species are rotated with cash crops to blanket the soil year round and act as a green manure that replenishes nitrogen and other critical nutrients. Cover crops also helps suppress weeds. Third one is terrace farming. Terracing is the practice of creating nearly level area in a hillside area. The terraces forms a series of each at a higher level than the previous. Terraces are protected from erosion by other soil barriers, and terrace farming is more common on small farms. And finally, so here it comes, adopting appropriate farming technologies. Mixed crop farming, optimum use of compost fertilizer, use of agricultural lime, minimum use of chemical fertilizers, optimum irrigation, etc. are helpful to get the better crops and also helps in the conservation of soil. By this, we have completed notes of this unit, chemicals used in daily life. I hope this video was useful to you. If you like this video, please share with your friend and don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next video. Thank you. If you have any queries, drop the comments in comment section. See you on the next video.